Hello, football family. Welcome to another episode of Ball Chat Podcast. My name is Benton. Hello, my family, my brother Junior. How you doing, boss?
I'm not
You
happy
surviving COVID-19?
I'm not happy at all.
You're not happy. Why aren't you happy, Junior?
You talk about that.
You will talk about lively up yourself. Do I need to sing Bob Marley's lively up yourself, Junior?
First of all, we need to check the space between us.
Social distancing, football lovers. Football lovers, this is a football show as we discuss the world and the major news in the world of football. Come on, family, how are you doing? Wagwan?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing well. I'm doing well. Are you surviving football the weekend without football? Come on, how are you surviving?
I am so bored. Today was a day I had a long conversation with my son. Usually we don't have a conversation like that on a Sunday. But with nothing else to do, we just talk about stuff. You know, I found out that his favorite color is no longer yellow.
Come on, it took you this long to find out that your son's favorite color, the man a big man now, what is he, 23, 24 years old?
It was yellow, so all of a sudden he changed. So
All
if because of no football, you know, you get to learn these things.
Because of no football, you get to learn this thing. But Junior and football family, we will make it through the COVID-19 outbreak and we will survive.
You sure?
Junior, we will make it through. I need some level of reassurance and confidence from you,
From
Junior. All right, football lovers watching us on Island Sports Network or Ball Chat Podcast YouTube page.
Hold on, don't tell about me up and I do put it out here.
The Ball Chat Podcast YouTube page. You can join the conversation on Island Sports Network YouTube page, Ball Chat Podcast Facebook page, and Ball Chat YouTube page. The show normally is a show that's centered around covering the week's major news in the world of football. We foster lively and informative and fun discussion around the world in the world of football. The week's major news in the world of football. But as you, I'm sure, unless you've been on the rock, it's all about COVID-19. We'll talk about how coronavirus outbreak in the pandemic has affected the sport. We'll also talk about what's next. We'll try to get the thoughts and feedback from my co-hosts and colleagues and my family here. And try to get some of the opinions of the fans. What are you doing? How are you making it through this period without the weekend games? So Junior, how are you surviving this current lack of football?
I'm not surviving.
Well, you're here.
I'm just here in spirit. But physically, I'm not here. I woke up yesterday morning, 7:30 a.m. Eastern on a Saturday.
Yes.
Turned on my TV, and I heard what's her name on NBCSN? Lisa, what's the hostess there? I hear her talking.
Rebecca Lowe.
And I was like, oh my God, football. Then I hear match of the day. I'm like, what? Wait, what? Yeah, I'm not surviving.
You're not surviving well. But Junior, you will survive. Come on, how are you surviving without football this weekend?
I'm reading, and it's a good thing that I traveled to Germany, so I'm jet lagged, so I'm tired. So as soon as I wake up and eat, I go right back to sleep. So I'm not really missing anything out there. I'm sleeping and reading and eating.
You're asleep, football family, Pure Vida, big up. Pure Vida already have the bug of the week is coronavirus. Coronavirus stopping football. O'Dane says it's very stressful surviving without football. I guess Corona is getting the bug of the week from a lot of people, Junior.
Corona is a bug. Oh my God, man.
All right, so let's try to update the football fans on the major developments around the world of football as it relates to this pandemic. The major leagues have suspended the EPL, the Italian league, of course. Prayers and thoughts to what's going on in Europe and it's, Italy's taking a real beating, over 21,000 cases. And unfortunately, a lot of people have lost lives here. But the EPL has suspended, the league has suspended, and Junior, do you see football returning anytime soon?
No.
And
No.
by soon, do you think that they will be able to finish the season. The
No.
EPL and EFL organization, they're scheduled to have meetings this week. Of course, if conditions remain the same, there's this issue of just probably canceling the league if possible.
Yeah, I think football is done. I think football is done until next season. It would only make sense. I mean, we at Barchat will provide an avenue where we can all come together under one umbrella and separate ourselves from life and enjoy commodity of talking about the sport that we love, right?
Yeah.
But where life is concerned, there's a lot more important things than just football.
Yeah.
So the world has to get back in shape. The economy has to get back in shape.
Yeah.
People have to get back to working on a regular schedule before football. No, I don't think football is going to be back.
Come on, do you see the league resuming at some point? Do you see, what's your take on all of this? Should they cancel the season and just start over again, or you just wait and see how things develop? What's your thoughts on this?
I think that they should just wait and see. You know, we don't know what will happen. Maybe the first week of April. The first week of April still gives us time. I mean, you know, if you push back any qualifications or any Euro, any other games for the summer, then we can go on to June. We can, you know, we can play. We have 11 more games left, I think. So, you know, they can find a way, because my thing is this. It's unfair for teams who are trying to get promoted and teams who are, you know, trying to get that Champions League spot. It's just a whole bunch of things. How do you do this? How do you fix this? Do you cancel the entire season? Then what happens to people who, like teams who are 1 point ahead of another team? It's not like a Liverpool who is running away with, well, people are telling me that Liverpool is running away with anything because of their current form, which I still think is laughable. But I don't know. I just think they should just wait and see and not call it all a wash as yet.
Okay, you should come on, so she. Big up yourself, Ty Gill. Ty Gill says a Liverpool junior fight against.
No, well, and you guys soon hear.
We'll get into the details. But and football family, big up yourself, Dalton, watching us on Facebook. We want to know, how are you surviving this weekend without football? Of course, your other priorities, you know, taking care of your health and taking care of your loved ones and making sure that you guys are safe and making sure you guys are protected. But with that, in addition to that, how are you making it through this weekend with your normal routine of not being able to watch football as you normally would? I know some people have gone through extreme. Junior is lost or losing his mind this weekend without football. But Junior, expand. You said you think they should cancel the season.
No, not that. Well, not cancel.
Okay.
No more football.
Cancel as in the EPL.
Yeah, the EPL is done. The EPL. Two leagues don't need to play any more games. That is EPL and the French league. We already know who the champions are. So Liverpool fans, I'm not suggesting that Liverpool should not get the title. Liverpool are the champions of England. PSG is the champion of France. So if they want to give them the title, fine, give them the title. But in Spain, in Germany, in Italy, you cannot go out and say you are the champion because the leagues were so close. So this was going to be a year. I think, was it World War II? One of the wars happened during there was a football league, I think English Premier League. And there's a stat that is thrown out there, like there was some team that one team is claiming that they won the Premier League, other team is saying, no, that's a war-stricken year. Prepare for us to have this conversation 20 years from now saying about this year. But Liverpool is the champion. So I'm not fighting Liverpool.
Dalton says, I am mad. I don't know what to do with myself. Plus, there's no food at Whole Foods, Costco, or the supermarkets. So, Dalton, do you need hand sanitizer? Link me. I will send you some hand sanitizer.
You have toilet paper because...
Tigel says he agree. Like Kamon said, we have a lot of time before we make the formal decision on whether to suspend the league. Come on. So you said you've been doing some reading, and you're exhausted, you've been resting, but you've been talking to your son also. Have you been assessing the role that football has played in your life? I mean, now that you don't have it for a weekend. Have that crossed
you know what? It is funny. Sports is 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 an important tool. For some people who say, "Oh, I don't watch football," or "I don't watch tennis," "I don't watch some form of sport," it's kind of mind-boggling because then I'm like, okay, what else do you talk about? You know what I'm saying? So we are all smart people. I mean, we are very good at our, respective professions, but at the same time, football is this thing that unifies people. Sports, we talk about it all the time. You don't have to be that bright to talk about sports. You don't have to be that dumb to talk about sports. But it really shows how important, especially football for me it is. When I get up in the mornings, like on Saturday mornings, and I roll over and touch the remote, that's the best feeling for me. I was like, what am I going to watch this one? I don't want to watch any movies. Netflix is completely played out for me. So now we have to go back and start to watch some old games. When Chelsea was good, those are the games that
And you have to go far back. Huh?
You know they didn't have HD back then, so you can watch it with the two black lights on the corner. So man.
This is your therapy session, football family. We're helping each other through this process. We're trying to communicate on how we're making it through a weekend without football with the pandemic, the COVID-19, the coronavirus pandemic, and its implication on our communities and our lives in itself. I mean, Junior, come on, mention watching old games. Have you watched any old games when Manchester United was good? You mentioned to me earlier about Liverpool getting an unfair call against Manchester United. So you've been watching these old games, Junior.
You really want me to go there? Do you want me to go there?
But you've been watching old games. That is essentially what you've been doing.
In the match of the day yesterday, it was the Liverpool versus the Manchester United game. The one that Alisson had that great assist to Salah, right? Right before he kicked the ball to Salah, the linesman, the assistant referee, called offside against Lingard. And the thieving referee went like this. I say, I got you. I watch it, and I have DVR, so I rewind. Everybody on Manchester United stopped playing at that point because they expected the referee to blow the whistle. You know what that means? Liverpool win the game. They would have won the game 1-0.
Okay.
Salah goal should have been disallowed. Should have been disallowed. VAR, where were you?
Dalton Stewart, what games have you been watching, football family? Ty Gill, Dalton Stewart, those of you who are watching us on Island Sports Network, have you been watching any old games? Junior already talked about his old game of watching Liverpool cheating Manchester United.
Yeah.
Dalton says Euro is cancelled. The league can go to the end of June. I'm not sure if they officially have cancelled Euros. UEFA will meet this week to assess the situation and then make a decision. There's been rumors or some speculation they're trying to move Euros into the fall, but let's see what happened in the meeting this week by UEFA and the stakeholders. Come on, have you heard anything about Euros being cancelled?
No, the same thing. I heard that they're going to meet and then decide. Which Dalton is right. I mean, like if everything blows over by April, I mean they can play, close to the end of June, or the beginning of July. That means I think players will have less time off, and then probably start the league a little bit later. I mean, there are workarounds to it, so it's a lot of time. Let's see what they're going to do.
And for football fans, League Mexico and Mexico is still on. They're playing behind closed doors. Toluca and Atlas just concluded within the last couple of hours. So if you're desperate for some football, Cruz Azul will play Club America behind closed doors later tonight on Univision. For those of you who have access, the Brazilian League is also going on, and those games are also played behind closed doors. And I think there are some other leagues that are currently ongoing behind closed doors as well.
Australian League was playing up to last week. I'm not sure if they're
I think New Zealand as well, because a couple female teams were playing.
Yes. And the Bayesian League is live here on Island Sports Network, is currently playing. And then, just trying to get you some comments here. O'Dane says yesterday seems like during a never look football weekend, dead. until next year before we get any more action. I don't know, Dane. I hate Bill Gates. He did all this just for vaccine and world population. All right, those are the comments of Odin. Pure Vida says, I'm a football fanatic. I watch Liga Mexico every night. Club Leon 3-1 over Pumas last night. So people making it by watching League Mexico, making it by checking on each other, supporting each other. Also making it by watching the Brazilian League and watching the old games. Dalton Stewart said, I have all 29 Liverpool games on tape. I'm watching some of them. Are you watching the Atletico Madrid game, Dalton?
No, he doesn't have 30 games. He said 29, not 30.
Geraldo Haynes says he's watched some Riquelme and Redonda games this weekend. Two big baller, Riquelme, Juan Ramon Riquelme, big baller. Ty Gale said, did you guys see Adebayor's karate kick? You see, you're reliving some of the memories of Adebayor when he was at Man City and that karate kick. But come on, did you say you were watching any games, or you just been sleeping and just reading?
Sleeping, reading, eating, and just that one game I watched, and Chelsea was good. But yeah, I did see the karate kick, and I mean, he should be banned for the entire season, whatever that means, and a couple games next season as well, because that was just ridiculous. And I think the National League, I think is also in session, and I know that they're arguing about not playing.
Yeah. So the Bolivian League is also, Pure Vida is also watching Bolivian League. Bolivar drew 1-1 yesterday. So there's football, Junior.
I think, I think National League is also playing as well in England. And okay. I think they're meeting to see why they have to play. Okay. Yeah, then so
betting.
The bet. So football lovers, I mean, there are some games playing, so you can find football to. But does it show that we are addicted to this sport, Junior? Can we survive without it? The mere fact that we're watching Bayesian and the Bolivian League, can we survive without it?
Of course we can survive without it. You know why?
Why?
We can get well, not without it, but we can make contingencies. I guess maybe it is addiction, but summertime is coming up right now in the northern hemisphere. So wherever you are watching ball chat right now, it's a northern hemisphere. We're about to enter spring, right?
Yeah.
You're going to see a lot of red ants and black ants outside. So get a nice sugar cube, put it in, like, get some chalk and like your back porch, draw the outlines of a field, get 10 red ants, 10 black ants.
Where are you going with this?
A drop of sugar.
Oh my God, Jonah, it's really an addiction.
He's an obeah man. He's a voodoo worker.
Yo, I'm going to miss football, man.
Yeah, he's missing football.
It's really an addiction. If you have to go all the way to ants, it's an addiction.
It's an addiction.
We haven't talked about cockroach yet.
Oh, jeez. But ultimately, you know, with the pandemic, the ultimate message of the football of Ball Chat is safety first, protect yourself, follow the guidelines. You know, I know a lot of our listeners are from Jamaica, and we are Jamaicans. So we also want to make sure we touch base with the people on the island and help to guide them, because they are also seeing some cases there, and help to, you know, drive some of the message home to get, you know, because, you know, sometimes Jamaicans, we don't, some of us don't adhere to the guidelines as suggested. So,
like me putting my hand towards my face right now.
Follow the safety guidelines, football family. Protect yourself and your family. And even if you know, the recommendation to stay away from large crowd, even if you know, some people may have the infection are asymptomatic. So there's a potential to transfer the virus, and we must protect those most vulnerable, like the elders and those who are, you know, have underlying chronic health conditions. And
Ty is saying FIFA online games is better. I agree.
And so Ty is playing FIFA game. But Junior has been playing a lot of PlayStation.
Yep. So anytime you guys are ready, I'm ready to stream the games. I have a PlayStation 4, FIFA 20, let's go. Let's have a tournament.
Junior's played it. All right, so in addition, we don't want to focus heavily on COVID-19 and the pandemic. We did have some games this week, and the reason why we don't want to focus too heavily on the outbreak, because this is a football show, We essentially address how it's affected football. We'll have more news this coming week on as more developments. This is a fluid situation. Things will change drastically as more information come about, and we'll update Football Family on it. But we want to try to discuss some football, to try to get your minds away from the current pandemic if possible. We had some games this week. We want to talk about those games. You know, and you know, I'm currently watching the Liverpool versus Atletico Madrid game.
You have to remind which leg?
This is the second leg that took place at Anfield, and I'm currently watching that game as we're doing the show. But come on, your thoughts on the actual play, the games this week. We'll talk about that. We'll also get some thoughts on what's going on with U.S. Soccer Federation and the crisis, air quotes, crisis that's facing the U.S. Soccer Federation. We'll discuss some Jamaican football as, you know, some stuff is going on, and try to update on the Red Stripe Premier League. And then we'll wrap up our show. But come on, your thoughts on the actual games this week if you had a chance to watch some football. Just trying to move the conversation away from the pandemic and try to focus a bit on games that were played.
I think one of the most exciting games was the Valencia game.
Yes.
Where they lost.
Yes.
That was a little bit disappointing. The PSG versus Dortmund game was also interesting. I can't believe that Dortmund actually gave that away. They actually gave that game away because I thought it was in the bag for them. Atletico Madrid, and Simeone is one of my ballers of the week because he put a masterclass when it comes to parking the bus. It was 11 men behind the ball, and it was interesting for some parts of the game. And then his substitution was actually good. So, you know, those were the games that I watched. And I think I did watch Cavalier versus Mount Pleasant. It was a little bit rough, but Cavalier came through with a victory.
Sheldon says the hardest thing is to keep my hands from touching my face. Yes, Sheldon, it's very difficult. Watch the show live. Let's see how many times the host Junior will touch his face.
My eyes are just because I can't touch my face. My eyes are itching me.
And I don't touch.
Nose. I mean, you scratch the bridge of your nose.
I don't touch my face. I just with my hands. I usually use the back of my arms to do it. You know, but Junior has already been on record of touch. Hand sanitizers, Junior. Hand sanitizers. Jason Frame says, happiest person with this football sports lockdown is my wife. Get back her husband on the weekends. And that's absolutely right, Jason Frame. A lot of wives are seeing their husbands back this weekend. And a lot of husbands probably seeing their wives back this weekend. Come on.
There's this joke going around that says, I saw this woman on the couch in my house and I realized it was my wife.
And Pierre Vida says, Adebayor plays for Club Olympia in Paraguay. Thanks for that update. Adebayor is now playing in Paraguay. Thanks,
Pierre. Kicking off people's face. Thanks for that update, Pierre Vida. And my correction if I said it was at a different venue, a different team. But he used to play for Man City and Arsenal back in the day. Yeah, all right. You're referring to that different time.
The different time. But let's come on and O'Dane has mentioned bugs are ballers. Junior, do you have any bugs or ballers? Let's talk about some ballers and bugs. Let's move away from the pandemic. Football Family, once again, we want to reinforce or emphasize, follow the guidelines, protect yourself, and protect your family. And, let's talk about some ballers and bugs, Junior, watching football. Do you have a ball of this week?
It has to be Atletico Madrid. It has to be Atletico Madrid. I mean, I can't pick out anybody. I think from the kickoff, I think Simeone's demeanor on the sideline transferred into his players. I think Diego Costa being an enforcer in the middle of that field. I think I just can't pick anybody. Just Atletico Madrid, the whole side.
Atletico Madrid put a masterclass. Jurgen Klopp said, with all the talent, I'm just paraphrasing. Jurgen Klopp said, with all the talent Atletico Madrid have, they should play proper football. I guess who gets to define proper football? So Atletico Madrid defeated Liverpool. Liverpool is out of the Champions League. But they also were out of the Champions League after defending when they won that year, that immaculate comeback against AC Milan. The following year, they were also eliminated. So Liverpool have issued trying to make a deep run in the tournament after after a year of winning it. Baller is Ox. Dalton says his baller is Ox. I wonder why, Dalton. He was a nightmare for Atletico defenders.
He was for the Brazilian left back. He was.
Yeah, Lodi. He kept pulling into space behind Lodi but Lodi had his hand full as Mohamed Salah. He was his central focus, and so Ox would drift into that space behind him. So impressive by Thomas Partey having to try to cover Ox or try to cover his central midfield position, but Lodi had his hand full.
You want me to say it?
Let's go to ball of the week. Come on, who you have as your ball of the week?
I have Vardy. I always say I like Vardy. Vardy played. He's played. Leicester City beat Aston Villa 4-0. Vardy had 2 goals. Vardy is continuing to be a leader for Leicester. And as I said before, Atletico Madrid is the entire side, whatever. But Simeone had a wonderful time just running around Liverpool. His substitution was on point, was very effective. So he's also my baller of the week.
Yes, and ballers of the week. My ball of the week is RB Leipzig. The so-called plastic trophy having team, as some Spurs fans I know have described them as. But wait, Spurs fans, they have trophy? But RB Leipzig was absolutely fantastic over this 2-leg against Spurs. And it's a pity, hopefully things will settle down with the pandemic and we'll get to see RB Leipzig back at its full tilt gunning. But they balled Tottenham in both legs, both at the London Stadium and both in Germany. Impressive showing as they won that knockout phase of the competition. Now let's move to our bugs of the week. Sheldon says his bug of the week is for the Grêmio versus Internacional game where there were 8 red cards in this Brazilian Clausura League. And Pure Vida also brought that up. He wanted to know if there was a war or a match in itself. 8 red cards.
And that was their first rivalry game, right? I think so.
I'm not sure, but
I think I see that it was their first.
And it was, and the funniest thing too, it was, I think the cards started coming. The fight broke out in the 88th minute. So I think it was at the end. It was towards the end of the game when all those cards were issued. And the referee really because when I saw the highlights, the referee really let a lot go. So I think it was actually building up. So it was chaos. It was madness, but it was fun.
Yeah,
fun.
It was fun. But and continue on the ballers and bug. Let's give an honorable mention to Joseph Illich, who scored 4 goals. As Camon talked about the Atalanta versus Valencia game, one of the first players to score 4 goals in this run of the knockout stage of the Champions League. He's having a fantastic year in the Serie A, 32 years old, scoring a lot of goals. But you have to give him mad props. He doesn't get the limelight a lot. So Joseph Illich had a fantastic game. And what was it like, Junior, watching that game behind closed doors, or just watching football behind closed doors for you? Does it take away anything for you?
No, it doesn't. It really doesn't take it, because I'm more focused on the field, on the game. No, The atmosphere, yes, it's kind of eerie. Not hearing the crowd singing, not hearing the chanting. You're actually hearing players on the side, coaches on the side cheering on the players. It's an eerie feeling, but no, it doesn't take away from the football.
What about for you? Come on, watching those games behind closed doors, does it take away anything for you, or does it negatively affect your viewing of the games?
I mean, no, as Junior said, the atmosphere was the only thing. Like, you like to see the crowd reaction. You like to see the crowd behind the goal before the goal even starts. You like to see the kids in the crowd crying when their teams get eliminated. So those things were missing. And Junior is right again, that we heard everything that was being said. I heard everything the coach was saying, everything that the players were saying. Even on the pitch, you could hear players. You could hear the ball ping off people's foot. So it was weird, but it wasn't spectacularly weird.
Let's try to get through some of the comments, Junior. Sheldon says, or Jason Frame said, ball of the week is Marsh. Messi Marsh for him, killer goal against Tush in the Bush League. What Bush League is that, Junior? Or come on, what Bush League?
He's talking Cavaliers. He's talking Red Stripe Premier League.
Hey, Jason Frame, we cannot refer to the Red Stripe Premier League as a Bush League, all right? It's probably our potential partner.
Please
do not refer to the league as a Bush League. Dalton Sewell said his bug of the week is Adrian costing us the game. All he had to do was boot the ball downfield on a rainy night after being up 2 goals. You need. Yes. Yeah, Liverpool was up 2-0 going into deep into extra time there.
You really want to blame my job.
Jermaine Levy says, I am late, but who cares? Junior, how you know the man next to you don't have coronavirus and vice versa? Each person was tested, Jermaine, before they entered the studio.
Oh, the green screen. The green screen is up to you, can't see. What I have right here is hand sanitizer with aloe. And I
Where's
trust.
the Lysol?
Good question, Jermaine. But we should emphasize social distancing as part of the protection.
Yeah.
You could go as far away as you can, but you won't reach the designated distance. It's supposed to be what, 3 to 6 feet. But Junior, you test negative. I test negative, so.
Sure.
Oh my God.
Sure.
Jason Frame said, bug of the week, Michael Owen for cuss Madrid over them tactics.
Yeah.
Yes, come on. I mean, your thoughts on that, come on. And Michael Owen, really inflammatory statements about Atletico Madrid tactics after that game.
He's not going to talk about Klopp too, because Klopp was a little bit rude
Yes,
as well.
yeah.
I'm going to beat him, man.
So I mean, listen, that's Michael Owen for you. I mean, he's passionate, and sometimes he says something that, you wonder if this man's sensible. So I guess he's up in his feelings. He was up in his feelings, and it's understandable because sometimes Junior and I say some things then when we're angry, and then after we're like, we shouldn't have. But, it is what it is. It's a part of football. Liverpool lost. You just need to go sit one side.
Pierre Vida says ball of the week is coronavirus for saving Man City team. Now the injured players can come back and Real Madrid won't knock us out of Champions League. Jason Frame said, Jeremy Levy says, Manchester United win 5-0. The sound don't matter when we win big like that.
True. And
Jeremy Levy agree Liverpool goal, it was a bug and I don't even like Liverpool.
No, but
and yeah, you're saying Junior.
Michael Owen.
Yeah, regarding Michael Owen.
Dr. Michael Owen. What is Michael Owen's claim to fame? And for all those who know football and love football, what is Michael Owen most famous for?
I mean, he had a good run, right?
He had one good run.
He had a good run, and he was scoring a lot of goals.
One good game against Argentina when England.
No.
Hold on, no. What made Michael Owen popular was he was the wonder kid for England that scored. I think he scored 2 or 3 against Argentina in the World Cup.
Yeah,
in the knockout phase.
Yeah, right? The knockout phase. I think that was the game where Diego Simeone and is still getting a lot of lip from English fans.
How did Argentina play versus how did England play?
I don't know.
England played straight counter-attacking football and they subbed on this 18-year-old lightning quick youth.
Michael Owen.
And he preyed on Argentina trying to play pretty football while he depended on the long ball. If anybody remember, because I rewatch football all the time, watch that game again and see what Michael Owen, how he scored all his goals. It was clear breakaway against Argentina. The same way Atletico Madrid played. So you coming back years later now just because you're a ex-Liverpool player and complaining about Diego Simeone, the man that you beat in the World Cup. You using the same tactics that your team used to beat you. Shut the hell up, man.
Well, it's kind of a homer, right?
But remember, Michael Owen is English.
Yes.
So he's beloved by the England.
Yeah.
Come on, you got on mute.
It's the same way. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
It's the same way Jose Mourinho plays. He's the bus specialist. And Michael Owen not go offer Josie as hard as he want to offer. The point is, Liverpool lost, and Michael Owen just even shut up.
Yeah, plus Michael Owen is a Liverpool player, right? Former Liverpool player. So he's in his feelings after that defeat. The thing that I don't get, what I was more bemused by or more concerned was a statement by Klopp. And, you know, there are those who love Klopp and respect his work. And he does admit that he's a sore loser. No one is entitled to win. But the statement about proper football, I thought that was just disgraceful sort of statement for a manager to make about their compatriot, their opponent. But to that end, Junior, and come on, didn't we all know that Atletico Madrid was going to park a bus?
Exactly.
And so shouldn't the responsibility was on Jurgen Klopp and company to find a way to break down or resolve that parking a bus? We all knew that's what they were going to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
And you're right. Once he took Diego Costa off, right? You're like, okay, you don't have another bully on the pitch like Diego Costa. What is he going to do? So Klopp was actually, let's just say he was outplayed and outmaneuvered, because if you are this brilliant coach like Klopp and you see this is where Simeone is going, then you adjust your tactics. You change it. So when he
Yes, come on, Mike.
Marta might
go ahead.
Marta might just miss, or he might just hit. Just adjust your tactics.
Yeah.
Well, let me and people and big up the Liverpool fans out there that are very rational. Liverpool was up 2-1 on aggregate.
Yes, and then
in overtime.
Yeah.
So Klopp, instead of you complaining about Atletico Madrid not playing good football, maybe you should have played Atletico Madrid style football. We wouldn't be having this conversation right now. You would have won.
Yeah.
You would have won. Atletico Madrid did. It's not like they parked the bus. It's not like from the opening whistle, them faking fouls, them kicking the ball high in the stands, and them trying to hold on to the 1-0 aggregate lead. They came and outscored you on your home field. You have nothing. That was very Pep-like. That was a very Pep-like comment when Pep lost to Tottenham.
Yeah,
that was a very It felt like Pep Guardiola.
Yeah.
When you remember when Pep complained about Liverpool playing the heavy metal football?
Yes.
It's the same thing now.
Yes.
Shut up, Klopp.
And I was surprised though, because Klopp is very complimentary. You know,
He normally
I was surprised when he made that comment.
Yes, normally he is.
Even when he, them lose, he would smile. He would be, very pleasant. I was kind of surprised though, but I guess this is Champions League, and he wanted to win it back to back.
Let's try to get you some of the comments. Says Jason Frame says Stooge in the Bush is the nickname of Mount Pleasant. German Levy said ball game sweet in Tampa Bay this morning. No one cared about Corona.
Make somebody cough.
Sheldon Bennett said the keeper is the scapegoat for Liverpool. They had 37 shots. Should have scored a lot more. German Levy said, doesn't matter, Junior, man score goals. Owen's still a bug. German Levy says, side note, Thomas Partey at General United need to sign him now to replace Matic. Taking a mind are in the eyes of other people, players, German Levy.
Chelsea wants Vardy. We could do it without Vardy.
And German Levy also says, I wouldn't say that they were outplayed. Liverpool was just unlucky. They were unlucky. So let's see, Junior, what will happen. But you're a big fan of tactics. And come on, we want to get your thoughts. And Football Family, we already talked about coronavirus and the outbreak and the effects on the sport earlier on the show. For those of you who just joined us, we know you've been inundated about coronavirus, and we want to talk about football and get you away from the stress of the pandemic. And so we're just having a fun, lively, interactive discussion about some of the games that took place this week. You're a big fan of tactics, Junior. 4-3-3 system. Klopp, and Pep Guardiola, these are their system. And these are their system. Did you see some vulnerabilities in the system when they played against this 4-4-2 system of Atletico Madrid? And the reason why I saw something in Liverpool where defensively, they were looking a bit open at the back there. It's almost like they're trending towards the City sort of deal. The wing backs are pushing so high up the field in search of goals. And now, defensively, things are probably open at the back. Are you seeing the same thing?
Yeah, because, and people that, we are just coaches, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
If anybody that's watching right now, if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, chime in. Let us know what you think about that as well. But for me, I don't think it has anything to do with the 4-3-3.
Okay.
I think it has everything to do with the 4-4-2.
Okay.
And I don't know why teams don't use 4-4-2 anymore. Atletico Madrid is one of the few teams that play 4-4-2.
Yes, you're one of the few teams that
The
play.
beauty about 4-4-2 is you cannot outnumber. You cannot be outnumbered in any phase of the game.
Okay.
Especially when you have two wingers that are committed to play defense.
Yes.
You are committed to overlap and just run. They're runners.
Stay back also.
What they did against Liverpool was they had two banks of four, Atletico Madrid, which is how they play all the time, right?
Yeah.
And their two strikers are always keeping your defenders occupied. Mm-hmm. Your central defenders always have to be occupied. And the beauty about João Felix, and Diego Costa, they are two opposite forwards. They are two completely different strikers.
That complement each other.
So you cannot attack them. You cannot defend them the same way.
Yes.
When we moved away from 4-4-2 was when 1998, when France won the World Cup. If everybody remember that French team, they had Thierry Henry, but they had a baller named Trezeguet that could not see the French team.
Yeah.
Why? Because him and Henry played too much alike.
Yeah.
And they killed Brazil with the 4-2-3-1 because Brazil played foot. So them say, all right, cool. This is the new formation. But what Diego Simeone does with his traditional Argentine style is we're going to keep everything. We're going to give you the wings. Mm-hmm. So Axe, Salah, Mane, Arnold, you guys have the wings to yourself. But guess what? What you saw for 90 minutes in that game, Liverpool constantly had to try to cross the ball to a non-existent striker.
Yeah, because the centre forward.
Because the centre forward was non-existent. They had no height, no strength. So Simeone just killed them with that. And the two strikers one always stayed on the half line, one always trapped back a little bit. So Van Dijk had to keep his head on straight. Mm-hmm. Arnold had to keep running back at times. Mm-hmm. So it's just, to me, was a masterclass. But it should be something that everybody should have been enforcing against. Liverpool against Barcelona, against Man City.
Yes.
I don't know why.
Yeah. Come on, you have any thoughts on that?
The formation?
Yeah.
No, at one point though, I thought they switched to 5-4-1.
Yeah. So
because Morata was the lone striker, and as I said, good coaches change their formation or change their tactics to suit and win a football game. Simple. So if that's what we have to do, listen, there's so many times I want Frank Lampard to move away from the formation that he uses, and go to two striker, or sometimes I want him to put everybody behind the ball if we're leading. But it is what it is. So 5-4-1 was what I think I saw.
Yeah, they would drop somebody back in that midfield to help an extra. Jermaine Levy says, I don't think the system matters that much. Quality of the players matters more. João Felix is a general. Seeing him live, very skillful player. Yeah, I agree with Jermaine Levy 100%. I mean, the players are not quite rigid as much. The systems are quite fluid these days. All right, before we kind of move away from the Liverpool game and just talk about some more out of football discussion. PSG defeated Dortmund. Come on. The PSG players pretty much ridiculed Dortmund players afterwards with some of the celebration. Were you cool with that? Or, I mean, you see the videos are circulating of them mimicking or mocking Erling Haaland. Of course, he started it by saying that Paris is a city. Are you cool with that sort of sportsmanship, or is it just a part of the game?
I think it was petty.
Yeah.
I think even though he started it, and I'm not going to say because he's young and immature.
Yeah.
I think Neymar should have known better.
Yeah.
Thiago Silva should have known better.
Yeah.
The PSG players are older. They should know better.
Yeah.
So I thought it wasn't all fun and jokes. I think it was petty.
Yes.
That's just my opinion.
I know, I share some of that. Junior, PSG acting like they won the Champions League with some of the. What are your thoughts on that?
I have no problem with it.
Yeah.
I have an issue more with Haaland. And I think the Borussia Dortmund players probably come to him after the game and say, look, big man, don't you ever do that again. Why would you piss off Neymar? Why would you piss off Mbappe? Why would you go on to, oh, this is the France, PSG. Why you said France is mine?
Yeah, this is my
city.
city.
Why would you do that?
Yeah.
All you have to do is just shut up and play. Don't do that after you win the game.
Yeah.
So, petty, yes. Sportsmanship, yes, it's sportsmanship. It's good sportsmanship. Because I would have a problem if I. Why is that come on?
I just thought it was nothing. I mean,
that one is like
it was just too much. You beat the man, whatever. I mean, it was weird.
Well, guess what? Lessons learned. I promise you, you won't do it again.
Let's see.
I know what they say. He's too much like Zlatan.
Yeah, you were saying, come on.
No, I said we'll see. We'll see if lesson learned or if Junior favorite player is tough.
Yeah. Dalton says have to give it to Simeone. I mean, this regarding the Liverpool game. Jeremy Levy said don't celebrate until the tie is won, as in Erling Haaland. PSG has all the right to respond. I hope PSG go easy if they do pick up with this Champions League trophy, pick up the season, and then somebody else kick them in their teeth.
There's no more Champions League playing until 2 years from now.
All right, Junior, let's calm down. Let's calm down.
You want that?
Let's calm down. UEFA will meet this week to decide on the course forward as new developments, as more information comes about the coronavirus pandemic. Other Champions League games that took place this week, Junior, Jose Mourinho and Spurs got the brakes beat off them by RB Leipzig. It feels like an end of an era for the Spurs outfit in terms of these players. The Eric Lamela, Christian Eriksen has moved on, Lucas Moura, Hugo Lloris is getting long in the tooth, Jan Vertonghen is getting old, Toby Alderweireld, Sergio Aurier. These players are older. Do you think this is the end of an era? Meaning that, Pochettino has put this thing together. Of course, he's no longer there. He's one of the most highly coveted coach out there in the market. If this is the end of an era for this Pochettino, for the Spurs squad, your assessment of their accomplishment or lack thereof?
Yes, it's an end of an era. We should not have to wait until they get the brakes beaten off of them by RB Leipzig to think it's the end of it. The era ended when they fired Pochettino. That was the end of the era. Though Mourinho is charged with changing the side now. And their accomplishment, me and you see this differently. And I think me and Come On see it differently too. I think they accomplished the most that they can.
Okay.
They have not added any players of significance over the last how many years. It's the same team in essence. I know there's that Ndombele and they added some other ballers in here and there.
Yeah.
But it's the same core side. They maxed out their potential.
Okay.
And I think it was a good coaching job by Pochettino, but we will see things differently.
Come on, your assessment, if this is the end of an era for this Spurs outfit, these players, I want to hear your thoughts on their accomplishment or lack thereof. And do you trust Jose Mourinho to be the guy to kind of build the next phase of the Spurs outfit?
You know how I feel about Spurs. Spurs is garbage. I'm sorry. Even when they were finalists in the Champions League, I just thought that they were utter and complete garbage. Changing the coach, a very good coach, and bringing in a very good coach too, with the same crappy players, I just don't know how they expect to get any other results but the results that they got. I mean, or they have been getting. As Junior said, no significant players were brought in. So, I mean, what did we expect? Did we expect Josie to change water into wine? The same rubbish players that Pochettino had, Josie have them. So I just don't understand why, Spurs ownership and Spurs fans thought that things would be different with them. It's not going to be until you get some good players to complement Kane.
So are you okay with them having Jose Mourinho as the guy to build the next phase of the Spurs outfit? knowing
Nothing is
that,
wrong with Josie. Listen,
no,
I think Josie is a good coach.
knowing
I,
that,
I mean, I. I'm sorry.
knowing that Spurs have a huge debt to service on that brand new stadium, so there might be limited access to resources or for players, for these high fancy players that Jose Mourinho might be interested in.
But that's the thing too. Do you want to have a nice fancy stadium and no trophies, or are you willing to invest in good players, borrow some money, sell two section, name it off a two famous player at the stadium and get some money in and buy the players? It makes no sense for you to have a fancy coach, a fancy stadium, and every year you struggle to come fifth or maybe sixth. I mean, like, who knows? Maybe next year you might be battling for relegation. So they have to invest in some players in order to win, win some trophies, win some titles. And then you can really say, to the fans, okay, paying £2 more to come watch this team is worth it.
Dalton Stewart said, don't think it's petty regarding the PSG and Dortmund game. He started it as in Erling Haaland. If you can't take the burn, stay out the kitchen. Jeremy Levy says, Hugo Lloris is a bug. Dyer is rubbish. Harry Kane is overrated. Jeremy Levy also said, best player on Spurs is Song. And Sheldon Bennett says, selling Ericsson was a big mistake too. Reggie says, LOL, Spurs going to get burned down to the ground by the special one. And Jason Frame says, Spurs overachieve with the squad. Ownership lacked ambition to go into the market and spend. It's a North London thing.
Peebo Rebel says, Mourinho is finished. That's on Island Sports Network.
And you don't think Jose Mourinho is finished. All right, so and I want to before we move away from this conversation regarding Spurs and Jose Mourinho, and for those of you who just joined us, welcome to the show. We already talked about coronavirus and its impact on football. We're just trying to have some football discussion because I know football family has been inundated with information about coronavirus, and we want to step away from that and just talk about some football. And how are you making it through the weekend without any football? Are you watching old games? Are you taking care of your children finally, now that you don't have any football? But regarding Jose Mourinho, Jr. and Camon, he's been very critical of some of the players in his squad, especially Tanju Ndombele. Jose Mourinho a few years ago in a book written by Gabriel Marcotti said that, some players, quote, I want to paraphrase him here, he said some players, William Gallas is a player that he couldn't shout this inflammatory statement in his face because he would shut down. But John Terry was a player that you could really shout in his face and make sort of strong statements to him because he will respond. And with that being said, Jose Mourinho should know his players, because that's what the assessment from that interview. Do you think the strategy of belittling Ndombele is the right one? Because he seems to have gone into a shell in this game last weekend.
Who is Ndombele? Do we know him?
Yeah, well, he's the highly invested.
Apart from that,
we don't know him personally in terms of the game. He played in the French league last year. He's 23 years old. Prior to that, he was in 3rd division. But he was Tottenham's highest transfer in the summer.
I'm not picking up for Jose. We've seen this picture before with Jose. It's not our first time experiencing Jose berating players. But we don't know who these players are behind closed door. What if this brother is in the locker room running off him more like he's the greatest thing since sliced bread?
And what if he's not, though?
If he's not, then Jose is a big idiot. So I don't know. Again, I'm not picking up for Jose, but we're not going to sit here and act like Jose doesn't know what he's doing.
Yes, he knows what he's doing, but we also cannot ignore that Jose Mourinho's tactics at Chelsea and where places he's been successful is this idea of we against the world mentality.
Right.
He rallied the troops. He, every man battened down. We have this collective front. Now, this sort of strategy doesn't work with every player. And can this Jose Mourinho? We've seen him struggle at Manchester United, unable to modify his way of tactically or his way of leading. Is this the guy you want to lead the Spurs outfit?
Assuming that you can get a squad of those kind of players, of course.
Of course.
Of course.
All right, come on, your thoughts.
Listen, I'm not picking up for any players who get millions of pounds to play football.
Agree.
The player is supposed to go on the pitch and give 100% every time he goes out there. That's why he was brought in. If the coach is unhappy with a player, then the coach is in his right to make sure that the player knows. So hopefully this player will pick his thing up. Listen, this is Jose Mourinho. He's not a new coach. We know him. We know how he operates. A player knows how Jose operates. So for you to come to Tottenham, you know exactly what you are going to get with Jose. So go on the pitch, give 100%, and you won't hear him out. It's just simple. I'm not picking up for any player who's supposed to do them job and not do them job.
All right, come on, and this is the mother of a player.
Well, in all fairness, NWA, he acquired Jose, not vice versa.
Not the vice versa.
In all fairness to him, still. In all
All
fairness.
right, so come on, do you want to now reassess the statement as the mother of a player?
Absolutely not. Because if my son is getting paid to go out there and give 100%, and he goes out there and gives 45%, how am I supposed to be okay with him doing that? I mean, listen, it's his coach, it's his team. His job is to do the best that he can on the pitch. If him go out there and do it half-heartedly, I mean, how can I defend that? I can't defend that.
Jason Frame says Jose is nearing the twilight of his career, tactics outdated, and just back to cussing his players like a miserable old man. Him done.
Hey Jason, easy because you never said that when it comes to Arsene Wenger. Arsene Wenger was past his prime.
Jermaine Levy says Ndombele is not ready. Prime Minister says Jose is a spent force, claims he has changed man, etc. But he's through them since leaving Madrid. And Jermaine Levy says Jose is not Jose, it's Poch that is the idiot for buying him. And as in Ndombele, and Jermaine Levy is saying that's why I don't rate Pogba, because him only give 100% some of the time. You're getting paid big money to play. All right, and we'll see from here. We're going to segue to Yard Ballers and discuss Jamaican football. What is to discuss in Jamaica?
Left, yeah.
To discuss in Jamaican football, because the league is also suspended. We could talk about Jose Mourinho and Spurs, but we'll see what happened. Don't touch your face, Junior. How many times we're going to go through this, bridge? Sheldon, don't you see he's touching his face, football family? Hand sanitize your face. Or face sanitize your face.
But I think it's a good time to let the people know that Ball Chat is not shutting down though.
Junior, how about your assessment of not touching your face?
Yeah, I'm not touching my face. But I think it's a good time that people know that even though we don't have any football, we still have Ball Chat on a weekly basis.
Yes, right? We'll still update our content. We're lining up some interviews. And football family, we want to interact with you guys and get more information on our football family. And so, we'll have some further information on that coming up in the middle of the week and the weeks to follow. But also, as information is released regarding the leagues, we'll update you in due time. Jason Frame said, I wanted Wenger out 2 years before he left. Sheldon says he's laughing at Junior. Do not touch your face, Junior. And come on, Jason Frame says, come on, I know you, Jose, but him time come. I know, come on, his love with Jose cannot. Before we move to Jamaican football, come on. Is there anything that Jose Mourinho can do wrong in your eyes?
I know one.
What?
Sign your son.
No, it's not your eyes, Junior. It's come on eyes.
Listen, you don't ever sign my son, I'm going to fight him. Because he can't talk to my son.
New right back for Tottenham, Michael Seaton.
you can't talk to my son, so Jose, I'm going to drape out. But to me, listen, I do think that Jose is a good enough coach. But I think he's not someone that will promote youth players, that's my opinion. He doesn't have the patience. Okay. So if you're a Kane or one of them old-time players, well, don't really care. If you're what you guy named Zlatan, you don't Chicharito and you really don't care. Those are the kind of players that Jose needs. But the young players like the Dembele, who is so sensitive, and even the Moise Keane, who is sensitive, they're not players that will thrive under Jose. So you know Jose's shortcomings. but you know that he's also a very good coach. So you just take the good with the bad.
Okay, let's see what happened to Spurs. Let's before we segue to Jamaican Football Junior. U.S. Soccer Federation had a tumultuous week. The president, Carlos Cardera, former president Carlos Cardera, formally resigned from his post as president of the federation, effective immediately. And the main impetus for his resignation is that, you know, the legal argument, that one of the legal basis for this ongoing gender discrimination lawsuit with the women's national team is that the U.S. Soccer Federation seems to suggest that men have better abilities than the women players. Junior, Cindy Cohn is now in charge at the U.S. Soccer Federation, and we'll wait to see what actually transpires in terms of new elections. Your thoughts on this week in the U.S. Soccer Federation? Your thoughts on this whole thing?
It's like a train wreck that's taken 2-3 years to crash.
Yeah.
We've seen I saw this coming, and the argument about man versus woman, I'm not going to get to, not because of fear, but out of respect, right? There are some things that common sense can dictate certain conclusions, and they weren't using common sense. It's something I saw coming. I'm just leave it at that.
Leave it at
I have stronger opinions, and
we'll wait till the pandemic is over for the stronger opinions.
Yeah.
Come on, your assessment on this tumultuous week for U.S. Soccer Federation and the resignation of President Cardera. And, I mean, did you accept his apology? Does this statement, does this legal defense speak to the so-called misogynistic atmosphere that ladies players, the female team, has been talking about for years? Come on.
He should have been gone a long time ago. The statement that came out, the initial statement in regards to the lawsuit, was just an awful statement to put out. That he decided to resign, or I think he was forced to resign, is a good sign. But what's her name? Sydney Cohn?
Yeah,
she
Sydney
was
Cohn.
the VP at the time when that statement was put out. And so I'm like, you know, that's kind of iffy for me, because if they're going to clean house, they should have cleaned house everybody who put that statement out. So I'm not sure where she stands. She's a former national team midfielder. She was the head coach of Portland Thorns, and they won a title. So I want to see how she's going to move the argument or the conversation forward. You know, will it be that she will get a fight or pushback because she's female, and hopefully that she will put some more investment or, you know, just help to move the female game forward. So it's going to be interesting, and he should have been gone a long time ago. It was just ridiculous.
And just let me try to get the actual statement and the quote. This is from Braxton Brooker of NPR. And this is in the court filings. Quote, "It is undisputed that the job of the men's national team player requires materially more strength and speed than the job of the women's national team player," end quote. It also added that, quote, "The job of the men's national players carries more responsibility than the job of the women national league players, national team players," end quote. So that is the issue. And President Cardera has resigned over those legal filings, and that has been the genesis or the basis for the gender discrimination counter argument against the women's national team. They go to court on May 5th. If everything else settled down in this climate, it's all about coronavirus, so we'll see what happens. At some point, they will have a court date if they cannot mediate and get this thing resolved. But in line with what Kamon says, Cindy Cohn is now interim president. She was part of the Cardera's administration. And do we expect any changes? We will see. We will see. You know, Junior, and come on, just before we move away from this, MLS Commissioner Don Garber, you know, was very upset about the statement itself when he saw the legal filings. Does this show that, you know, Don Garber and MLS does have a pull in U.S. Soccer Federation? Because after his aggressive push, and of course along with sponsors, then you led to the resignation of Cardera.
everything is intertwined.
Yeah.
Everything is all wrapped up. They're all together in this. Everybody's pockets get lined. Listen, I think the biggest argument or the biggest issue in his resignation was the sponsors.
Okay.
The sponsors came out really, really hard. Coca-Cola came out really, really hard against them. They wanted a meeting. So we know that without the sponsors, then the sport is in disarray. So they listened. It's not what the players on the pitch spoke about. You had male players talk in favor of the U.S. women's national team, and the needle wasn't moved. Yeah. But once sponsors showed their disgust, then something happened. So, Don Garber can sit one side.
Jason Frames, the president was an idiot, burnt his own bridges, deserved to be fired. He also says that if it's one nation that the female program is more successful than the male program, it's the USA. He also says, on another note, though I am all for equal pay, however, the female game does not generate the funds that the male game does. Cost me now, come on.
I'm sorry, and that's not true for last year.
He said, cost me now, come on.
That's not, for the last year, that was not true. Because that for the last year, Jason, that was not true.
Okay.
So the female team generated more money last year.
Okay. and we'll get to that once we get back to normal services. We'll discuss that. We'll watch and see. But let's discuss briefly yard football. The Jamaican Red Stripe Premier League is suspended. They'll have meeting. At least this weekend games are suspended. We'll have a meeting Wednesday. This is from the Premier League Club Association. Junior, I mean, there are 10 cases of coronavirus as of this morning from the Ministry of Health. Do you envision seeing the Red Stripe Premier League starting up? I mean, a health system like Jamaica, which is quite fragile in some areas, and probably need to center all its efforts on trying to contain this.
No, the answer is no. The football, you guys don't get it enough.
Yeah.
Football is done until next season. It's done.
And so we'll await what will happen from the Jamaican Premier League as they assess assess the situation, and as more things come to light, then we'll give you more information. Come on, you have any thoughts on this? It's the same thing as everywhere else, right?
Yeah. I don't know why they suspended games on about the 12th to the 16th. They postponed games. I'm like, our next meeting, they're not Christoph Dan and Omar. What the guy name? Or Prime Minister name? Holness.
Yeah, Prime Minister Andrew Holness. Yeah.
He's not going to allow football to play.
Yes.
So I think the Red Stripe Premier League is done for the rest of the year, or if not, they're going to follow everybody's schedule and start back maybe in the end of April, May.
Yes, and football family, want to reiterate, I want to talk again. Follow the recommendations and the guidelines of the health minister and the ministry down there in Jamaica. And if you want further information about the pandemic, how to protect yourself, www.cdc.gov. The WHO INT website also have pertinent, up-to-date information on how to protect yourself. Don't touch your face, Junior Pringle. Do not touch your face, Reg. And if it's
hold on there. So hold on now. So this is very interesting.
Yes.
So if the season ends, so that means that Vera and you is safe.
Yes, we'll start again next year.
So you the reset button, press the Mount Pleasant.
Malines. Yes, but you can't relegate Malines. Come on, after what we did the beginning of the year. We were the reason. Emphasis on we, Malines, were the reasons people watch the Red Stripe, the Jamaican Premier League. It was a newly promoted team.
That's not even true.
It was a newly promoted team that engaged the masses, and thus we put butts in the seats, and Jamaica Premier League Association need to give us some more money. So if the season is suspended or cancelled, Malines will stay up. Big up yourself, coach.
So hold
Coach
on there.
Calvert.
So hold on there.
Yes.
So Junior never decides they must do social distancing with the virus, but him doing it from alive.
He's doing it from a line.
I don't want any Harborview, Tivoli, Waterhouse people come and cuss me off, okay? I'm Portmore people.
And Harborview, Portmore.
Because this foolishness this guy just said, I don't. Ardent Gardens, I don't.
The Harborview and all the rest of the teams did not have the hot start that Mullines did. Mullines was beating and teaching team at the beginning of the season.
You do know that Mullines is down a gully, right? Like
yeah,
down there.
But that does not take away from what we did at the beginning of the season. Come on. Jason's frame says one sparrow does not make a summer. 1 year, come on, Lee. Dalton Stewart says, so Junior Pringle, Bush League side not getting no ratings are talking about. Big up Bailey on his magnificent goal.
For real, Bailey scored wicked goals. So.
Big up Bush League side. Jeremy Samuel said the whole league needs money, brother. Yes, the Red Stripe Premier League, the entire league needs money. That is absolutely true. Absolutely true.
But
Go ahead, come on.
a second. So there are so many ways, and we talk about this, and we might have to talk about it over the break, with no football, with the Red Stripe Premier League. But in order for them to get money, they need fans. In order for them to get fans, they need to clean up the sport. They have to make, the game has to be better. The stadiums need to be better. And the experience will need to be better. So, look at them. So, in order for Red Stripe Premier League to start to be better, there's so many things that need to be done.
Yes, there's so many things. The whole league need money, Jermaine. We definitely agree with you, the Red Stripe Premier League. But Camon has outlined many factors that can contribute to the increasing of earnings for the league. The quality of the play needs to be better. Camon, eloquently stated earlier in our show that the weed burning at the games probably
and the budward cussing.
and the budward cussing need to cease. And a fellow journalist in Jamaica also spoke about the issue of taking his children to those games because be a bad with someone or cuss. But yes, the league needs money, and for the game to grow, we need to invest. Maybe Ball Chat need to roll up the truck and invest in our lines. Football family, this is it. We made it through the show.
Hold on, you're not talking the Reggae Boys beat Bermuda.
Okay, come on. How about you talk about how the Reggae Boys beat Bermuda? Go ahead.
So 2 Mount Pleasant players scored, Jordan Fletcher and Kemar Beckford. And Kemar Beckford is the leading goal scorer in the restaurant.
You see what coronavirus to her?
And Kemar Beckford is the leading goal scorer in the Red Stripe, the Jamaica Premier League.
Yeah,
go ahead, come on.
Germany Wi-Fi kind of messed up. But yes, so he's the leading goal scorer on 14 goals. So he's doing well. He is 28 years old. So I'm not sure if it's going to be around for the next World Cup. That Jamaica wants to go to, but. Good, impressive showing from Mount Pleasant 2 players.
Yes. So, but
the overall game, I'm sorry, but the overall game.
The overall game, come on.
For me, it was terrible.
Okay.
The coronavirus.
We don't need to say anything else. And those of you who want to watch the replay of that game is available on YouTube. I think it's JFF Live YouTube page, the Bermuda versus Jamaica friendly. Jamaica won that game 2-0. As Coach Tapper Whitmore expand his pool of players, and we'll see CONCACAF will have meetings and further information rolling out about how the current pandemic will affect World Cup qualifiers. Ball Chat will be here to give you more information. So, Junior, come on, that's it,
But don't we do this though? Let's take the opportunity to let the people know. Get them by idea. Just give us a couple of minutes.
So Jermaine Samuels says leagues need more money. Yes. Jason Frame says 6 is real. Malines. Easy, Jermaine. Easy, Jason. Jermaine Samuels said maybe this is an opportunity to overhaul the entire league. Have a productive meeting. What would you like to see them do, Jermaine, if you want to overhaul the league? What sort of improvements that you think need to be made to make the Jamaican Premier League better?
Tell him for hold that door.
Jermaine Samuels also says, me wouldn't watch it if them pay me. I would.
What?
Yeah, So Jeremy, don't give that answer yet, Jeremy. Please, hopefully in the seat right now. But Jeremy, don't give that answer yet. One thing that we want to do in this time period, real quick, is for the next however long before football start playing again, right? We are still going to do ball chat.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But we want to invite people, and we know some people, we know a lot of you that are watching right now. We know a lot of you personally. We want to reach out to you. We want you guys to take part in the show. Be a guest host on the show. We want in our little downtime, we want to talk about, like you were suggesting, what does football do for you, right?
Yeah.
How has your life been affected by football? What made you a football fan? What's your favorite team? So if you are interested, and we don't know you personally, and you are interested and you want to take part in the show, and give us your information, and you want to link us.
Yeah, I mean, and the ultimate objective is that the sport has given us a lot. You know, we've built relationships, both on the field and off the field. Some of our juniors, because of football, I know you.
Yeah.
It's because of football. It's because of football. We have the football family.
It's
here.
ironic. I'm wearing white and you wearing dark.
Yes.
And on Sundays, reverse.
Reverse. And we've been friends for over 15, 20 years. Mm-hmm. Same thing with Cameroon. So the idea is that as we transfer into a period where we're going to have little or no football, we want to get to know your relationship with the sport, how you have built a relationship with football, how you have football has impacted your life. And also, I mean, if you have kids who are playing the sport, you know, what sort of message or what are things that you would like to transfer to them in this period from the sport? And how do you see the sport going years down the road? And also from a community level, how can football should impact the community, if at all? So those are some of the things I would like to talk to our fans about as we transition into our summer sort of scheduled programming. It won't be live. It will just be recorded interview, getting to know the fans and their relationship with the show, with football itself. Because I've played a lot of football. I wasn't fortunate enough. I yearned to play professionally, but I couldn't make it. And so this is why I talk off my mind now. And so to that end, you know, we're inviting fans to link us. We'll give the information at the end of the show, and we want to encourage interaction, because this information will be used to generate informative things for the next generation of players that are coming down the pipe. Because ultimately, that's what Ball Chat is all about. It's not just about entertainment. We want to hopefully teach the kids who are coming behind us a better way to do it. Come on, do you have anything else to add as we wrap up our show?
Yes, so, and then I want to also talk, like a part of that show, talk about how I got my son into football. I want to talk about how at an early age, when we had downtime or whatever, we used to stuff the cream or milk box with newspaper and have tournaments and stuff, and it was Avenue versus Avenue, and the winner would get a bag of bag juice.
Yeah,
so
bag
those
of
are
bag
things
juice.
that we can talk about, and so those are things that we can talk about just to kind of like get us through this.
Yes.
This break.
And we'll also interview some former players, and we'll also interview some current players, and we'll put that in. But Ball Chat was born out of the idea of not just professional players. It's a fan-centered show, and fans who interact with the sport. Some of you guys are all fans. And some of you guys are coaches. Some of you guys are lines people, or referee, or officials.
Excuse me, sir, we're assistant referees. Thank you.
All right, assistant referees. Thank you. Prime Minister said, do we have any thoughts about Liga Mexico continuing? Your quick thoughts on that, Junior. For me, come on, I want to get you chiming on that question from Prime Minister, but I mean, ultimately, as if the number of cases increase in Mexico, I will think that at some point they may put a halt in this to the Liga Mexico. Let's see. I think
they should have before. I mean, why are they waiting? Are they waiting on the number to increase? I mean, it's just crazy that they're still going on when everybody else has stopped playing football.
Well,
Junior,
Should I say it?
So you should say it. Distancing.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Junior.
You might want to go way over
Yeah.
there.
All right, Junior, go ahead.
It's a political, not political, but look at New York, and let's talk real life now. Look at New York, and the mayor de Blasio just came out today. I just saw the breaking news. He finally decided to close schools because of the virus.
Okay.
Why is it that he's being one of the central ground zeros in America with the COVID-19? Why is it that he's taking so long to close the schools? He said it on an interview today. You can't. Number one, the schools is used for the kids for them to give some kids food.
Yes,
kids
it's a source of food for a lot of
But
for a lot
to
of kids.
me,
Yeah.
the biggest thing for him was he doesn't want a lot of teenagers on the street unsupervised.
Okay.
With that being said, and I'm going to say it, Mexico, you don't want a bag of people that normally in the stands cheering on Club America to be out on the street finding
Junior,
something
go
else to do.
easy. Go on here.
Come on, am I lying?
Yeah, but they're not in the stands though. It's behind closed doors.
But they're still cheering for the
Oh,
one
so
team.
So it's behind closed, so they're not there. So okay, well maybe you can say that they're home watching TV instead of being on the street, and that's understandable. And I do understand what you're saying. But you have to put people's safety first. So that's kind of weird that everybody else is doing it except Mexico. Well, New Zealand doing it too. So
Brazil is also doing it.
Yeah. So I don't know what they're waiting on.
I know what I'm waiting on.
Prime Minister says mitigating risk to players and fans should be a huge concern. And that's definitely, I definitely agree with you, Prime Minister. But one of the things that we also have to understand is that they're playing the games behind closed doors, and there seems to be this appetite for some fans to go to bars, to public spaces to watch these games, and that's also a recipe for transferring or transmitting the virus to others, in whether it's being in a pub or a bar, you're watching the game. So we will see. Ball Chat family, Junior, I ate that in a football family. Remember, follow the guidelines, follow the safety guidelines as recommended by public health officials. Whether you're in Jamaica, whether you're living anywhere in the world, cdc.gov has pertinent information, just cdc.gov on COVID-19. WHO website also have up-to-date information on things that you can take to protect yourself and your family. Remember, we'll get through this. We will get through this. You can link us on social media at Ball Chat Podcast on Instagram, Ball Chat 1 at Twitter, Ball Chat on Facebook. You can email us at ballchatpodcast@gmail.com. The audio version of the show will be available still on Stitcher, iTunes, and all the places that you get your podcasts. So you will have time during your teleworking weeks come in to listen Ball Chat. Junior, stop rubbing your face, Bridget. Stop touching your face.
Come on, stop rubbing your face though.
Stop touching your face. Come on. Later, family.
All right,
this
later.
year.